This is Shannon Simmons with my presentation on our public school forum. I'm going to be sharing with you a PowerPoint presentation that I created looking at the needs of our school district. First, you're going to see that we're going to talk about how the curriculum development and instructional delivery of York County, South Carolina, which is where I'm located. Our district consists of 4 school districts: the York School District, the Clover School District, in which I teach, and the Rock Hill School District in the Fort Mill School District. You are going to see that there's a big difference between the types of students that are taught in each of these school districts. York School District is a small school district that has lots of lower income families, all the way to Fort Mill, which is more of an affluent community, considered to be in South Carolina, particularly in York County, where lots of people have jobs more in Charlotte and just happen to live on the border, which is where Fort Mill is located. Rock Hill School District is a larger school district. It consists of more schools. It has 3 high schools in its district, and it is somewhere between lower to middle class. And the Clover School District is somewhere right there in that middle class district too. Half of our schools are in the Title I, where the other half are not. The closer you come to town, the lower income. The closer you get to the lake, the higher the income. You can see that all of our out-of-school suspensions are very low. Behavior is not really a major concern in our school district, in the Clover School District. For those students who do have difficulties, we do have an alternative placement for them. In the Clover School District, our annual dropout rate is 1.2%. It's a little higher in Rock Hill. Our dropout recovery rate in Clover is 0%, where in York it is 15.6%, followed by Fort Mill School District. If we look at our youth and safety for York County as a whole, York County as a whole has less crime if you were compared to the suburb of Charlotte, or the city of Charlotte. We're a suburb of that area, so our crime tends to be a little bit lower. Most of the crime in our county is actually located in Rock Hill because it is bigger. Also, if you look at the health and safety rankings of our county, the one number that brought to my attention was our mental health number, 1 to 163. This is something that we also see in the school system as an issue because many of the students don't have anybody that they can go to when we're talking about parents are concerned about ADD or ADHD or having counseling services. We don't have a lot of those services available for children. We have lots of services available for adults, but we have very few services available for children. Smoking is a concern. We still see lots of students who come in, and we can obviously tell that parents have been smoking at home. It's at 18%, excessive drinking at 16.9%. Something else that you see here is 40% of the deaths caused by an automobile involve alcohol. We don't have a lot of people with HIV or AIDS in the community, although we have some, and obesity is still pretty high at 16.9%. The way that we have been dealing with this is by following that smart snacks, and the lunches that are provided at the school are fairly healthy in comparison to what they have been at least 8 years ago. If we look at the education rankings of York County as a whole is ranked very high in the state of South Carolina as far as school districts. Fort Mill is number 2 in the state, followed closely by the Clover School District, which is number 3 in the state. York and Rock Hills are placed within the top 25 school districts within the state of South Carolina. Also, what you will see here is that York and Rock Hill tied with a 10.1 for all 4 subjects as their mean scale. And then you'll see over here that English is one of the higher areas for everybody, followed by math, and then reading. If we look at the educational rankings for students in York County who are third grade, if we were just to look at those third grade students for the York School District, for the Clover School District, for the Rock Hill School District, and the Fort Mill School District, ACT Aspire was the test that was given 2 years ago. We have since changed to SC Ready, which is for South Carolina College and Career Ready. However, ACT Aspire was the first time that we had changed from just using SC Pass. You will note that the scores are fairly high across the board in all subject areas, with the lowest performing being in the area of writing. And you will see that it's across the board lower substantially. And you'll also note that SC Ready last year indicated that writing was very much a weakness in the York school districts. Also, it was a weakness across the state as a whole. Most of the school districts have been using Lucy Calkins, where the state is now having us move towards more of a text data analysis type writing, focusing on those higher processing skills for students, looking at inferencing rather than how does it feel towards you, looking for evidence to back up your answers. If you look at the graduation rates for York School District, the Clover School District, Rock Hill, and Fort Mill, you will notice that they are all very closely together and they all have a very high graduation rate. Fort Mill with the highest at 92% and Rock Hill with the lowest at 85.3%. South Carolina is definitely dedicated to getting our students ready and getting them graduated. If we look at the economic development rankings for York County schools, you're going to see that the lowest income is the York School District, followed closely by the Rock Hill School District, which I have stated earlier are more of our poverty students or our lower end students, with Clover being right there, and then Fort Mill being more affluent. The age ranges anywhere from the low 30s to the upper to 40s. Unemployment rate is very low across it's pretty much close to the national average in all of York County. I couldn't find an individual percentage of over 25 years of age that had high school, but I could find one for the whole county as a whole, and it's 88.4% with a bachelor's degree of average of 29.4% for parents over the age of 25 in York County. So what does all this mean? How does this drive the curriculum development and instructional delivery and the Clover School District? And more importantly, how does it drive the curriculum development and instructional delivery right here at Griggs Road? And in trying to find this information, I discovered some things. Our curriculum is actually developed by our district office. We have curriculum specialists in the area of writing ELA, science, math, and social studies. And they are, as curriculum dividers, they're to look at those standards and decide how are we going to chunk them, what is our pacing guide going to look like, what is every classroom in the Clover School District, what should those teachers be teaching, and how should they be teaching it. Now, those curriculum coordinators meet with the teachers at least 3 times a year as an entire group, as a grade level on their subject, as well as they come monthly to our schools and meet with the teachers during their planning to make sure that the curriculum is being followed, and that if teachers have any questions, that they're right there to be able to answer those questions. When I talked to the teachers and I asked them, are they given information about how to have their instructional delivery? They said no. They are able to deliver the information, the curriculum, as long as their teaching is what's supposed to be taught in any fashion that they find suitable. Now, I find that the teachers more here at Griggs Road like to use lots of collaboration, lots of technology. They like to have the students engaged, doing presentations, playing games, those types of things to teach a lot of these instructional strategies or instructional delivery for the curriculum. If we look this year at the one that's changed the most, well, first let's look and see, this is what a South Carolina graduate should have when they're leaving potentially high school. They should be a world-class knowledge. They should have world-class skills. They should understand that integrity, self-direction, global perspective, perseverance, work ethic, and interpersonal skills. This is what all of us are working together in those grades from pre-K all the way to 12th grade to get our students to be college and career ready. What does that mean in our school? In our school, that means that this year we've really taken a focus looking at that writing. We know that in the educational rankings of our third graders, this is something that they are not as high at. We also realize that the state has passed a Read to Succeed law that says all students in third grade must be on grade level or could have potentially be retained or held back. Reading is something that we've been taking serious for several years now. Well, always we've taken it serious, but we've taken a more direct approach where every child participates in a guided reading group that focuses on their individual reading needs. Also, every teacher now is being required to have a reading add-on to their certificate. We have to take Read to Succeed classes in order to obtain that within the next 10 years. Also, every classroom has a 90-minute uninterrupted reading block each day. Those students cannot be removed for special education services. They can't be removed for speech services. It is to be uninterrupted. Also, we have changed the way that we do our text or do our writing to a text status analysis, using writing that focuses on those higher level thinking skills, not narratives about how you feel or what's your favorite birthday present or anything like that, but looking at text and answering a question and finding the evidence that's in that story to support yourself, or to make inferences based on what you've seen that the author has wrote for you to be able to read between those lines, really causing students to have great comprehension skills. Also, we're more focused on writing across the curriculum. You won't just see students writing in ELA during writing time, but you'll see them writing and creating during science, social studies, math. Another thing that we are looking at is making sure that we're using lots of STEM activities in our school. Our school is very fortunate that we have one-to-one iPads. In fact, our entire district is very fortunate of that. And our high schoolers have MacBooks. This is because we want students using technology as much as possible in the classroom. Some STEM activities that they've done in the past is using everyday materials to try to create a car, and it needed to be able to move. And if you could get your car to move, then they race the cars. This allowed students to see what worked, what was successful, and to learn from their failures. Lots of them, their cars wouldn't move because they used too much tape on the wheels and they weren't mobile. Also, in the math, we like to be able to use word problems that relate to their everyday life as well as the standards, and using technology to research and create math problems. Right now, like in the 5th grade, they're working on fractions and geometry and algebra, and they have to be able to explain that and how it works and how they're going to be able to apply it in their everyday lives. Like I said, we're also very focused on technology here in our district. The students they do not have an app store, but we do have a self-service store that allows teachers to have apps downloaded to the students that they would like to be used in the classroom. Starting in 2nd grade, students are using the app called Explain Everything. This is where they can get on there and they can show what they've learned and explain it. This is also a way that teachers can do kind of a flipped classroom and have their lectures and explain how to do the math problems, and for students to be able to see that at home. Also, students are encouraged to be very creative here. We are using Keynote and Pages and Numbers and iMovies for students to be able to retell what they have learned, or to be able to share the information that they've researched and learned about. Students have such as Google and Kids Britannica available to them. We have lots of different search engines that are available that are kid-friendly, so that we know that the content that they're reaching is appropriate. Also, as I've already said, we're one-to-one iPad, and every building in Clover has a technology coach, one per building. I think in the upper grades there might be a couple more that help these teachers make sure that technology is fluid in the classroom. Also, these technology coaches come around and help with some of the STEM activities. As you can see, the students in York County, although we have some needs, they are very fortunate in comparison to other schools across the country. Even though our needs are small, they are still there, and we are working very diligently to make sure that our curriculum and our instructional delivery are there to prepare our students to be 21st century learners. Thank you.